знаем, Банбан 8 вышел. Еще не вышел, и уже разработчики выпустили дату релиза. Но как вы видели, там в начале в Steam почему-то нет даты выхода. Либо разработчики не успели, либо это просто шутка. И оно не выйдет 21 августа. И разработчики пошутили. Скорее всего, они через день, 2, 3 уже бы сделали в Steam. Но сегодня мы об этом поговорим. Также сейчас вообще ничего не публикуется. Нифига ничего не публикуется. Ну, кроме у нас тут есть, но очень мало контента. Видите, вообще нифига ничего нет. Все. О, только у баги хаки сегодня вот. Ну и все. Смотри. Просто это все. Кстати, что зайти на канал этого разработчика, и вот он, Банбан 8, который выйдет 14 августа. У нас выйдет официальный трейлер. И мы будем играть 100% в эту игру. Смотри. Мы можем ее уже добавить в желающие. Сейчас я ее найду только. Сейчас. И еще вот. Нет. Это не то. Так. А он, наверное... Так. Сейчас, секунду. О, сюда? Да, по-моему. О, Roblox. Сейчас, секунду. Вот, видите, детский садик Банбан 8. К сожалению, он пока еще не вышел. Но мы обязательно в него поиграем, ребят, в любом случае. Так, теперь вообще хочу поговорить, то, что у нас есть единственный канал, который выпускает, так это вот этот. Просто хочу сказать то, что наш ютубер нифига ничего больше не выкладывает. Угу. На секундочку. Поэтому мы будем смотреть его. Вот, что у него тут? А, это его другой канал или что? Да, это его другой канал. Как?
Those who take the internet on vacation can check they're on the right button.
Да, это его. Наконец-то я его нашел, его канал. Вот 5 часов назад, что мы сегодня будем. Так, обязательно. Ты посмотри. Ну, 101 тысяч подписчиков. А я хочу, чтобы мне до Нового года набралось 300 подписчиков. Поэтому вы можете исполнить мою мечту, просто нажав на кнопку подписаться. 8 дней. Погнали. Так, только субтитры включим. Он тут очень много болтает, поэтому я не буду так много читать, можете вы читать.
Friends, finally the moment we've all...
Не понял.
Hey friends, finally the moment we've all been waiting for is almost here. Garden of Banban 8 is just around the corner. There are only 8 days left until August 21st, the day we can finally dive into the new chapter of this amazing horror series that has kept us glued to the screen since the very first
это ужас.
In this video, we're going to talk about new theories and share lots of thoughts on what we might find in this chapter. We will see some hidden clues and references. Then we will analyze them to create new theories and new speculations.
Ну давай.
So, if you're curious to know what secrets await behind the doors of Banban's kindergarten, you're in the right place. And make sure, before we start, to subscribe to the channel.
Да, хорошо, чел. Лайк. И писать ты лучший. Все, я
and leave
написала
a
ему.
big like on this video. That way,
Да,
you
хорошо.
won't miss any upcoming content and you'll be ready to discover all the news about Garden of Banban 8 with me as soon as it comes out. Now get ready, because today's journey will be full of creepy theories, mysterious connections and wild guesses. But who knows, maybe some of them
Okay,
will turn
dude.
out to be true in just a few days. And now let's jump right into the news, starting with a very important phrase that appears in the official game description on Steam. As many of you know, the official description is often not there just to give us a general
Ну,
idea
это
of what will
просто
happen,
истинный
but
мой
hides
друг.
details and keywords that, if read
Где?
carefully, can reveal much more than it seems.
Ничего не видно. Вон там заключенные стоят. Вот тут стоит. Там второй этаж. Ничего больше не вижу.
And this time, there is a passage that really caught my attention. Let me read it to you. Explore the most obscure levels of Banban's kindergarten. Survive the new deceives and mysteries that await you. Uncover the truth behind the
Класс.
place and find the whereabouts of your missing child. This is the introduction paragraph from Steam's description. And at first it might seem like a normal presentation sentence, but there is one detail we cannot ignore. In fact, it says most obscure levels. This phrase opens up a lot of possibilities. As we know, the complete map of the Garden of Banban series is divided into distinct levels, and in each chapter we explore a different one, discovering new areas and secrets. However, in the case of chapter 8, things seem a little different. We will probably still be in the same level as chapter 7, and those who have followed my previous videos already know why, but the description makes it clear that this will not be a normal level. The fact that it's described as the most obscure makes us think that
чел.
chapter 8 will be set in an area of the kindergarten that is far more disturbing, dark and dangerous than anything we've seen before. Obscure is not only a reference to lighting or visual atmosphere, but could also mean a higher level of tension, a more claustrophobic design, and above all, a plot with much darker tones. This detail is crucial because it confirms one thing: chapter 8 will almost certainly be the most horror-focused chapter of the entire series so far. Not only because of the setting, but also because of the kinds of dangers and mysteries we will face. Now let's move on to analyze another very interesting paragraph from the game's official description on Steam. This time the words used are even more direct, and if we think about it carefully, they could completely change the perspective we had on chapter 8. The text says, your friends are either dead or against you. Your friends are either dead or turned against you. From now on, you
Да, мы потеряли всех союзников. Спасибо, блин.
only meet new enemies who will make sure you never feel alone. In Banban's kindergarten,
Реклама, блин.
your friends are either dead or against you. Your friends are either dead or turned against you. From now on, you only meet new enemies who will make sure you never feel alone. In Banban's kindergarten,
Одиноким?
there are enemies to be made in every
Я
corner.
всегда чувствую, что
This sentence is not
со мной
random at
кто-то
all and
есть.
deserves to be analyzed carefully. The message is clear. In chapter 8, we will no longer meet friendly
Отлично, все будут
characters.
ready.
There will be no new allies ready to give us a hand or provide us with useful clues. All the new characters we encounter on our path will be hostile. And here comes the interesting point. Do you remember all those 4 names that were leaked from the trademark site months ago?
Да.
Many of us thought that at least 1 or 2 of those characters could be good or at least neutral. But according to this description, it seems that
Чел, да, я знаю, я слышал о них, и они у меня есть на канале. Сейчас я вам покажу. Вот. Грустный слив по Банбану 8 2 недели назад. Да, я знаю. Арестовал.
won't be the case. It is very likely that those 4 names correspond to new enemies who will give us a hard time throughout the chapter. And this brings us to a crucial question. Flambo, we have speculated in the past, and we have talked about it in several videos, that Flambo would be introduced right in chapter 8, and that he would be our ally. The idea was that he could help us overcome certain challenges.
Я не знаю, но думаю, что Фламбо будет добрым, но точно не будет ненавидеть Банбана. Ну, потому что он его запер, та-та-та-та. Потом пошли фрагменты, что Фламбо откинул Банбана, потом за игроком погнал. Та-та-та-та, ну по полям.
Maybe by lighting up dark areas or distracting enemies. But now, with this new information, the theory risks collapsing. If the rule is no new friend, only enemies, we must seriously consider the possibility that Flambo is not on our side at all. He could be one of the main enemies of this chapter and not just a secondary obstacle. Imagine a character we thought was friendly, but who actually turns out to be dangerous, ready to ambush us at the worst possible moment. It would be a perfect plot twist to increase tension and keep the suspense high. So the question I'm asking you is this: will Flambeau be our friend or our enemy? Personally, after reading this paragraph, I'm starting to fear that the answer might not please many of us. But until August 21st, it remains just a theory, and we will soon find out the truth. Now let's focus on a key aspect, the game environments. Thanks to the final trailer and the latest teasers, we already have a good idea of some of the areas we will explore in Chapter 8.
И мы уже имеем дату выхода.
In fact, 4 main locations have been officially confirmed: the prison, Syringeon's clinic, the city, and the caves. Each of these areas already has huge horror potential. The prison could be a maze of narrow corridors, dark cells, and unsettling noises coming from inside, with the constant feeling of being watched. Syringeon's clinic suggests a deeply disturbing medical environment with surgical tools, cold lights, and perhaps abandoned sections filled with failed experiments. The city is perhaps the most curious setting, as it takes the action outside, but could turn out to be a ghost town, populated only by enemies and mysteries hidden behind every locked door.
Ну, это будет, как разработчики сказали, эта игра будет страшнее и всех, и имбущей. Надеюсь, что она реально заслуживает имбу.
The caves promise a dark and claustrophobic atmosphere, with narrow paths, deep chasms, and perhaps creatures moving in the shadows. But there is a very important detail we must not forget. The Euphoric Brothers have stated in the past that the trailer showed only a small part of the game, including the areas. This means that what we have seen so far is probably just the tip of the iceberg. If this statement is true, then we can assume that Chapter 8 will contain other secret locations that have not yet been revealed. They could be entirely new zones connected to the main areas through hidden passages or story events, or environments that unlock only after completing certain missions. And let's not forget that this will be a much more horror-focused chapter compared to the previous ones. So,
Это, можно сказать, будет хардкор, как разработчики тогда говорили, что у вас будет задание пройти без 0 смерти. Это как хардкор в Майнкрафте.
New area, even those not yet announced, will likely be designed to keep the player constantly on edge, with oppressive atmospheres, minimal lighting, and a soundtrack crafted to increase tension. In short, even though we now know 4 confirmed areas, it feels like Chapter 8 still hides a lot. And now, finally, we can say it, there are only a few days left. August 21st is getting closer, and after more than a year of waiting, we will finally be able to play the new chapter and discover everything the Euphoric Brothers have prepared for us. The wait has been long, full of teasers, trailers, and little clues scattered everywhere. But in just a few days, every mystery will start to take shape right before our eyes. Let's do a quick summary of everything we talked about today. We started by analyzing the official Steam description, focusing on the phrase "most obscure levels," which shows us that Chapter 8 will take place in one of the darkest and most unsettling levels of Banban's kindergarten, probably the same as Chapter 7, but much more horror and dangerous. Then, we talked about the passage "No More Friends to Make," which makes us think about Flambeau and the other characters. It seems that in Chapter 8 we will meet only enemies and no new friends, making the game even more tense and unpredictable. Finally, we focused on the confirmed game environments: the prison, Syringeon's clinic, the city, and the caves. But we also know that the trailer only showed a small part of the map, so there could be hidden areas and new locations that will increase the horror and tension even more. In short, Chapter 8 promises to be the scariest and most immersive of the whole series, with mysteries to solve, enemies to face, and environments that will keep us on edge from start to finish. Before closing, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for watching this video until the end. Your support is essential and allows me to continue creating more detailed and interesting content about Garten of Banban. And that's all for today, friends. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Осталось 8 дней до нашего 21 августа. 8 дней, то есть 8 дней. Это новый. И скоро, уже через 8 дней, у нас выйдет долгожданное обновление. Ну и не забывай поставить лайкосик, также подписаться на канал. Говорил, что до Нового года хочу набить 300 подписчиков. С вами был я, Таня. Всем пока. Хорошего отдыха. Кто еще на отдыхе. Ну и до новых встреч. Пока.